right, so here we have an example of a vertical motion model problem where the object is dropped. The cat knocks off the flower pot from a certain height. So we're using there's no initial velocity because when something is dropped, you put no force behind it. Therefore, it just starts at a velocity of 0 and it builds speed throughout the event. Now, if it's at the height of 64 feet, right, and then it drops to the ground level is going to be 0 feet, correct? So when we talk about modeling things as graphs, okay, this is going to be the H and this is going to be the T. Okay, T would be what would consider the x-axis and H would be the y-axis. And this will all occur in the first quadrant. Remember, this is 4 quadrants. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. It only happens in quadrant 1 because that's where both time and height are positives. There's no such thing as a negative height and there's no such thing as negative time. So we're going to consider everything in the first quadrant. So that we're starting here at a height of 64, and as time occurs, this thing drops to the ground like that. And that's part of a parabola. If you were to put it on this side, you would see that that's the piece of a parabola. And that's why we use the equation h is equal to negative 16t squared plus c. So all we need to write the model for this event, starting here and ending here, it starts at 0 seconds and ends at whatever amount of time it occurs. We just simply need to be able to write the equation, and then we can figure out the height whenever we want at any time given time. We can find the height, or given the height, we can tell what time it is. Okay. So since we dropped it from a height of 64 feet, the equation for this event is 16t squared plus 64. That's it. That's the equation. Now, if you want to know the height, you can say, hey, when was it? The height's got to be less than 64. It never goes higher than 64. At what time was the height at 63? And we could figure that out. Or let's say this thing took, what happened at 1 second in the event? What was the height of the pot at 1 second? You just put 1 in for t and you can figure it out. So this model, this equation will tell us the height at any time during this event, as long as it's between 64 and 0. That's just a beginner's problem or beginning of learning how to do these problems for a vertical motion model.